All right. So, as I mentioned to folks, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. For me, it just turned afternoon. I'm very excited because I see a lot of familiar faces, folks that have been in some of our other Welcome Wednesdays. So, just want to say thank you and hey, what's up? For folks who are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for taking the time to learn a little bit more about our conference app. Hopefully, this will be helpful. I do want to give folks a little bit of time to maybe consider if there are any lingering questions that you may have. And even if you didn't go to any of the other sessions, just about the conference in general, I will ask to refrain from asking questions about the Whova app because we will be going through that in detail. But I'm going to actually set up a little bit of a poll. So I want to give everyone just a minute or so to consider if there are any questions that we have the opportunity to just write it down. And let me go ahead and launch that now. So you should be seeing that. It's not a required poll. So if you don't have any questions, totally cool. If you do have questions, feel free to write them out. I'll keep this poll running. So as questions pop up, I'll have them on my side. And at the end, if there are questions that are coming in, then we can go through and answer those. I will say that you can also ask questions in the chat. I highly recommend that folks utilize the chat. As I've been telling folks for every single Welcome Wednesday, this will be a great place to also maybe see if there are folks that are in the same state as you, near you, have same interests. So if you want to go on ahead and introduce yourself in the chat, you can say your name, your pronouns, where you're coming from, if this is your first conference or not, whatever information you'd like to share. But go ahead and have that conversation going in the comments. We love to hear it. I do also want to take a second to introduce a very special guest of ours. So I'll have Briante introduce herself, say a little bit about her position and how integral she is to the conference and how many times you're going to see her next week. So I'll pass it over to Briante so she can introduce.
Hey everyone, my name is Brianti Meeks. I use she and her pronouns. I am ASHE's administrative and membership services coordinator. And during the conference, I will be the help desk. So if you have like tech issues or registration issues or need a name badge reprinted, you will come over to me, and that's on the plaza level. This will be my fourth ASHE conference, and I just celebrated my 3-year anniversary with ASHE in October. And I am currently on the homelands of the Umatilla, the Walla Walla, and the Cayuse in Portland, Oregon.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I actually did not say my land acknowledgement, but I'm joining you all from, I think I mentioned that I was in the Central Time, but I'm joining you all from Sugar Land, Texas, which is sitting on the ancestral homelands of the Caddo and the Carrizo peoples. So thank you again so much. I see that there are some questions trickling in. I'm going to keep the poll up just to give folks time, see if there's anything that might pop up from folks as we get into the session. But at the end, I'll end the poll. I'll look at the questions and answer anything that we have. And then obviously, if there are any questions that pop up at the very end, then you can just say them and we'll have a dialogue about it. So I see some folks are introducing themselves in the chat. I appreciate that very much. Let me go on ahead and get us started. So this is going to be quite an informal session. I just wanted to give us some time to really take a look at what Whova is, what it looks like, and give us some time to navigate it a little bit and see if there are any questions or concerns. As I mentioned to folks earlier in the last two sessions, Whova, I would consider it to be a very user-friendly app. This is our third year using it, and I have had a really great time with it. There's some really cool things, really cool features that we're going to talk through today. And if you would like to follow along with me, feel free to. So if I'll give everyone just a second, it is a mobile app. And so since I'm not on my phone, I can't share my phone screen. Also, this is my, oh, you can't see it, but this is my dog. But if everyone wants to take a second, whether you want to do the web app or the phone app, doesn't matter. But you're going to go find Whova in the app store. It's going to be in whichever app store you're using and download that. And then it's going to be under ASHE 50th Annual Conference. So I'll give everyone just a second to go find that so that you can follow along with me. This will also be a great opportunity just to have it. That way, if for some reason my computer freezes up, or if you want to deviate from the things that I'm talking about to start building your schedule, you can do those things now. For folks who are joining us, I am actually, since I'm an admin, it's kind of hard for me to go to the Whova app web style without it being weird. So I am previewing it for you all so that you can see what that looks like. But you'll go to whova.com, you'll search for, again, the ASHE 50th Annual Conference. You'll be able to find it and you'll be able to join under the name that you signed up for the conference. So once you get in, you will find a home screen very similar to this, whether you're on the web app or you're on the phone app. So as you can see, it's going to have a lot of really good information about this year's theme. I highly recommend you reading into that if you haven't already. Our theme definitely informs a lot of the things that you're going to be hearing next week, particularly as we're talking through and looking at the plenary sessions. So definitely, if you have some time, get a better look at what is happening with the theme. Let's see. Someone is asking a question. Okay, yeah, how do you spell the name of the app? So for folks who didn't see that, it's going to be just Whova, Whova. I know some people say Wova. I could see where you see Wova because it's like Hova with a W. I've never heard it said by someone who works for them. We say Hoover, but if you say Wova, I'm not going to look at you weird because I see it. I see the vision. But you can also see it right over here in the corner if anyone needs that for folks who might be watching this after the fact. So if you look on the left-hand side, I think regardless of whether you're on the web app or the mobile app, you will have all of the things that you need to look at. The agenda is going to be a place that you're going to spend a bulk of your time on this app. So we'll start there. It's great because in the agenda area, you can search by multiple different pieces. You can search by day. It's going to default by day, so showing you kind of things that are happening. On Tuesday, there is one event. CIHE is having a pre-con reception. And so that is the only thing that you're going to see on Tuesday. But as you see, as you get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to have the entire schedule, everything that you need at your disposal. So we'll take some time, look at, let's say, Thursday. So as you can see at the very beginning, it's going to have any of the lounges, workrooms, exhibits, things are going to be open all day. That's going to be the very first things that you see. And if you're interested in any of those things and want to make sure that you don't forget it, you can feel free to add those things to your agenda, and then they will show up. You have a source where you can go to your own agenda where you can put your little schedule in. Also, they're going to have the session by session blocks. They're also going to have it by time. So as we get into the morning, there isn't session blocks. So you'll see more so by time. But once we get into the block times, you'll see things are not going to be perfectly at 8:45 or not at 8 or 9 or 10. One of our first blocks is going to be at 9:45. So you'll see information here about the different things that are happening in each block. So this will be the opportunity to, again, view details. You can add notes. Great if you're in the session and you want to add notes and you don't need to have your notepad with you. You can just add virtual notes there, and then adding that to your agenda if it's something that you want to make sure that you don't miss. When you add things to your agenda, you can get notifications that let you know that that thing is happening, where it's happening, so you're not going to forget it. So let's go ahead and kind of just view details so we can just get an idea of what happens inside. So when you go into and click any of these sessions, it's going to tell you who organized it, who are the presenters, a bit of information about where they're coming from because we have everyone's information in a directory. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then as you go down, if there's any other information, like this session is an interactive symposium, so it's going to have a moderator. It's going to be more of like a panel. So it'll have that information as well. So you can like the session, you can add it to your agenda, you can take notes. Um, and it also is going to give you that information of exactly where to go. This is new this year. It's saying how many people are attending. I would not look at that if you're someone who is presenting for a certain time and you're looking to see exactly how many people to expect. I'm a type B person. I love to kind of like look through very haphazardly and see where I'm going, but I would never like say, oh yeah, I'm attending this session and then actually go, which is really sad. It's more so of like, okay, I'm gonna say I'm interested in all these sessions and I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do in real time, which I think can be really scary to people who are maybe a little more organized than myself. So I wouldn't necessarily look at that number to say, oh yeah, I know exactly how many people are going to show up to my session. That number could be and probably would be a lot higher than what you might see in the app. So I'm gonna head back out. As I mentioned before, we're going to go back into the agenda. There are filters, and you'll be able to see this on the app version as well. There are plenty of filters that you'd like to put if you want to just see what's going on. There are hundred, I think 100+ sessions that are happening over that 5 day span. And so if you know for a fact that you're looking for something in a certain context area, you can search that way. If you know, oh, I want to go to my friend's session, but I don't know what block or what day, then I'll look up my friend. So my friend Lisa Combs, I know has a presentation and oh, and she's not in there yet. So let's see. I'll look up my own name. I know I'm probably in here somewhere. So I'll look up my friend, myself. In this scenario, it's my friend, and then it'll pop up with everything that has my name in it. I am an organizer for a bunch of things, so I'll pop up. But as you are going through, you'll be able to kind of search for people in a lot of different ways. So that's a bit about the agenda. Let me add a couple of things to my own agenda. I think I have some things already in there because of things that I just work through, but I'll say that I want to make sure that I go to the Imagine Futures exhibit. And then you can also add it to your calendar. You don't have to, but it is an option that it'll give you. Let's say I'm going to also go to a research workshop, which would have pre-registration required, just letting you all know. And then let's say I want to go to the dynamics of doctoral socialization, which actually sounds like a really great session. So I'm going to add those to my agenda, and then you'll see there's another tab that has my agenda in it. So things that I'm organizing, things that I am a part of, and also things that I added just now will show up here. And again, like I mentioned, you can set to have notifications if you want. You can set to have it added to your calendar, all kinds of things that will make you make sure that you are making the most out of the conference experience and not missing something that you really want to see. Then we have attendees. So we're still adding in people for attendees, but during the conference, you'll be able to see everyone who is signed up to go to the conference. And so, as you can see, there's 74 pages. There are a lot of people, but you can search them by their name. You can also search them by other key things, like you can search people that are at the same institution as you. You can search them by their presentation, and you can interact with them. There are going to be some people who opt out of this. You can also opt out of this. It's in your settings. So if you don't want people to talk to you, say, hey, reach out, ask for a coffee, that's totally fine. But if you're interested in doing that, then there are a lot of folks who don't opt out of that option. And then you can reach out to folks even if you don't have their information to do so. So definitely a really cool resource that you can use at your disposal. Let's see. So there is a message area. I actually don't know what's in my messages area. I think it's just a bunch of stuff from Whova, but there is a messages area. You might not see too much from it, but if folks do want to reach out and say hi to you, check that because it'll show up here. This is from last year. So there, I actually didn't know about this feature last year. So there were folks that were reaching out to me and like asking me questions. And then I was like, oh my gosh, so sorry. I just saw this 8 months later. So it's really nice to have that functionality, but make sure you're checking it every so often if you see that little red icon, because that might mean that someone might want to connect. The next thing that I want to really highlight, which is I think one of the best parts of this app and the most underutilized parts of this app, is the community. So in this community tab, I actually need to do some stuff in here. I'm going to be creating a newcomers community, and I'm going to create it. It'll show up here. I will be posting some prompts, but once you get in there, anyone that's a newcomer can join that, and then you'll be able to communicate with other newcomers. So I believe that's on my schedule to do later on today. So if you check back tomorrow, then you'll see that there will be that community that says newcomers where we can connect and link. So in this, you can see that we might send out announcements. It doesn't happen often, but if there is a huge change, like one of the big sessions that impacts all goers, if there's anything that we might need to make an announcement about, then that would show up there. There are people who ask prompts, put in questions. And so someone actually put in a question of what are you most excited for? And so definitely opportunity to interact with folks there. We added all of our different networks and councils into their own separate sessions. And so you can go and follow those. So as you can see, some of those are getting some followings and have some messages in there already. But once you get into next week, you'll be seeing probably a lot more action happening in all of these groups. So if you are a graduate student, definitely go follow that one. There's going to be a lot of good information in there. I'll also be posting in there periodically. If you're interested in any one of these councils, some of the new networks that we're starting, some of the networks that we haven't announced yet that are kind of getting up and running will be in here. And then the final thing that I want to talk about that will always be at the top of your screen is the meetups and the virtual meets. I love this feature. People have been sleeping on it, but I know a lot of folks, when they meet people and they aren't sure exactly how to reconnect with them, they'll be like, oh, I want to go to dinner. Oh, I want to make sure that all of my friends, we do something that is informal. This is where you can post that. This is where you can connect with that. Or if someone else posted something and you're like, oh, that sounds like a really cool meetup, and I meet the criteria for that meetup, I can go hang out there. So definitely make sure that you're checking that too, because there might be some folks that want to do some informal things. I mean, the conference is super packed. There's so much stuff to do, but maybe you're a person who likes to party until 2 a.m. We're not going to have stuff till 2 a.m. for you, but maybe someone in the meetups will say, let's go hang out, let's go party. Or maybe let's go study because we actually have an exam next week. Because I know that some professors do not care that you're at ASHE. So definitely a great space for you to connect with folks and just figure things out. So I have done a bit of talking and gone through some of the larger pieces. I do have one more part of the app to talk through, but I wanted to just stop here to see if there are any Whova related questions. I do see that there are about 5 questions that are in the poll that I've kept open, but any Whova related questions that people want to just shout out or put into the chat.
I'm sorry, I came a little late, so maybe
Yeah.
you said this, but I have the app on my phone, but from the web, like on my computer, there's like the Whova website, but like what do you click to like sign on?
Yeah, you should be able to search, and give me 1 second because I want to give you the exact. So you go to whova.com.
Actually, they just sent me an email because I signed in and now it's like a direct link to it.
Okay, great. I was like, I think that you get a link, but I did not want to tell you wrong. Okay, so yeah, if you want to sign into Whova, you should be able, it should take you to a main page to sign in to create an account, and then it should send you the direct link to it, which is the opposite of what I told people. So thank you so much for asking that question. I think I might have mentioned that you could search it, but that's through the app. The app, you can search it. The website, they'll take you to the main page. Okay, let's see.
Erin,
Mhm.
It might be Diana or Deanna and Wendy brought up about logging into the conference site and making sure you are using the same email that you registered for the conference with. If you try to enter, it won't connect.
Yes, as I mentioned, make sure that you're using the information that you said for the conference, because we took that information, we took all of the people who registered for the conference and we put them into this system. None of our systems talk, unfortunately. So, which is a good point to actually bring up as well. None of our systems talk. It's what we are manually putting in. So if you put in anything that isn't directly connected to what you use to register for the conference, then it won't show up. To that same point, if you were someone who was looking at the schedule beforehand and you were creating your schedule from our all academic app, which is the thing that's connected to the conference webpage, that is not talking to Whova either. Something that I think I might have mentioned in the first one. So I'll go to that just so that you can see what the heck I'm talking about.
Erin,
So
can I butt in one more time? Sorry.
yes,
Um, Also, if you just registered for the conference like in the past, basically since last Friday, then you will not have access because once again, I have to input all of the new registrations since Friday into Whova. So that has not been done yet. So if anybody it did just register since Friday, you won't have access yet. I did want to say. I just remembered.
that's a great point. Like I mentioned, those processes are manual. So same thing with this. If this page looks at all familiar to you and you have gone in, logged in, and have started building a schedule here, that does not talk to Whova. So if you go into Whova and say, "Where's my agenda?" That's why you won't see that. So if you have done that, then I would suggest just looking through that, taking the time to add whatever sessions that you might have already added. But it's not a perfect system. So again, that's something that has all the information. But if you want something that's going to be really up to date, um, Whova app is going to be something that will have way more information for you in real time, and will be kind of a more dynamic piece for you during the conference. Okay, so I'm sorry, I am still confused. Okay, so I have someone who's asking about accessing the ASHE conference app on a laptop and not the app. So, Eric, just to get a little more detail, did you recently register or have you been registered for a while?
Hi there. I registered a couple of months ago for the ASH conference, and I have the Whova app on my phone, but
Okay.
I am very overwhelmed and overstimulated trying to parse through the app, and I would prefer not to use the app, so I want to use a laptop. I'm also a millennial, so I would prefer to use a laptop at this point because I'm not a fan of the app. But yeah, how do we access all of the ASH conference information on a laptop versus the iPhone or Android app?
Yes. I wish I could show you because I can't I can't simulate that portion of it because I'm already in it. But give me 1 second.
Erin, am I wrong in thinking that people would have been sent an email?
Yeah, yes. And it would have been probably on Friday. So
Yes, I'm wrong, or yes, I'm right.
no, you're right.
Right.
So
Okay.
everyone who was put in there should have been sent an email. If you weren't sent an email, I know that there's another way for you to get into the app. Okay, yes, I'm getting some corroboration in the app. I'm getting some folks that have the link. Thank you. I'm looking for this very link. Um, so I would check your email. If you want to do that right now, check your email. Let me know if you don't see that. I think we can also resend emails. But I will give you some time to do that. Please let me know if that still doesn't work for you. There is a link that should prompt you to sign in. I do see another question while we're waiting on that. Will presenters have the option to attach their presentations to Whova? If so, how long do we have attendees have access to the information? What a great question.
I asked that because I was just at another conference where they had the same app, but they didn't purchase that feature. And so the presenters had a work to share their presentations.
Mm-hmm. So just went to the, just to let you all know kind of where I went for this information. There's a resources tab. That was going to be actually the last thing I talked to you all about that has a ton of stuff in here. The floor map, additional information. The Wi-Fi code will be in Whova. So like if you keep forgetting the password, it'll be there. But when you go to slides, we have this message. So slides will be available until the end of the conference. And we do this because for a lot of folks, there's sensitive information on that slide, things that they are hoping to publish, things that they're hoping to send forward. And so we don't allow longer term access, at least from our channels, to folks. So the slides that you submitted by the 30th, I believe, was the deadline for folks, will be accessible through that that tab. So as you can see, access slides here. So you should be able to look by slide, and you'll be able to have access to this drive as well. This isn't just my access. However, you will lose access to this when the conference ends, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let me see if there are other questions. Can you confirm that the agenda online doesn't talk to the app? So the agenda online, so Whova talks to Whova. So the agenda online in Whova will talk to the app in Whova. So if I were to build my entire schedule in Whova on the web app, I'll have it in the palm of my hand. But if it's not Whova, it will not talk to anyone other than Whova. I think that's the best way to put it. So we have a way to build things again in another form called all academic, which is this right here. That don't talk, they don't hang out, they're not friends. But Whova App, Whova Web, they're besties, they're very close, and they share all their secrets. Let's see. So I think that's all of the questions that I see in the chat. Any other questions that folks want to just like holler out? Okay, sounds good. So as I mentioned, last thing I wanted to talk to you all about was the resources tab. So resources tab will have kind of all the information that we had on the website. So we have a welcome letter for you all, any accessibility information that you might need to know about, our syllabus that is created every year for where we go, our land acknowledgement, our labor acknowledgement, and then the things that we do beyond our land acknowledgement, because we do also do donations to everywhere we go, navigating and traveling, information about the BIPOC vendor fair that's going to be happening on that Wednesday. So kind of just like everything that you need. Presenter guide. You can even donate to the Graduate Student Travel Fund through this section. We are going to have our floor map here. For people who've gone to the very first Welcome Wednesday, or maybe it was, yeah, the very first Welcome Wednesday, you might have seen this map before. I know it looks a little confusing, but thankfully we have maps set up by the building and the level that you're on. So if you are unsure about anything, but you know that you are not in the tall tower and that you are in the basement, then you can know, okay, I'm in the plaza, I'm on the concourse, and then these are the things that I might need to know. So that information will be searchable. So if you need any help there, I will say we will have tons of signage, a lot of things on the floor, arrows in all directions telling you where you need to be. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And I will also say that once you're in the Sheridan for about, I would say maybe like half a day to a day, this all makes so much more sense. So hopefully wayfinding won't be too hard, but if you find one of us, we can help you get to where you need to go. We'll have volunteers also that'll be supporting folks getting to where you need to go. So that'll be there. The Wi-Fi information, so get you in a little bit. That will be the Wi-Fi information. The password's always super easy, but you don't need to go to Briante to ask her, hey, what's the password to the Wi-Fi? Because you all are the smart folks who either are watching this or showed up to this, and y'all know the deal. We did talk about slides. Our awards recipients are going to also be in here too. We have a brand new fellows program. Information about our fellows will be here. And also information about the many sponsors that are helping make this whole thing happen. So sponsor information will also kind of flash through on your app and on the web. So if you're interested in knowing about the sponsors, they'll be there. I lied. The last thing I wanted to talk to you all about is win a prize. So every year we do a Whova contest, and a lot of people don't participate in it, but some people get really into it. Hopefully you all will get into it. But we do give away like an actual prize. Like I think to the top 2 folks in the Whova app who do kind of the most interactions, they'll get free merch from our merch store, and the swag is really nice. So if you are at all interested in any of that, there's the information about how you can earn more points, what the points are, and kind of how to get into the contest. So you can start earning points now. As you can see, there are some people who have earned points just strictly from asking a question or joining something. So it's very easy to get points. But definitely if you are at all interested in doing something like that, it's a really fun opportunity to get something free. So yeah, that's the Whova app / web in a nutshell. I know that that's a lot of information, but just wanted to see if there are any other questions now that we've talked about kind of those last 2 pieces. Okay, I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so just making sure I'm not missing anything. So I'll go ahead, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'm going to end the poll, and I am going to see the details about what are some questions. Okay, so our first question, is it too late to sign up for the 5K? That is a Briante question.
No, you absolutely can't. You won't receive a t-shirt though, unless, I'm just gonna say that. I won't even say anything else.
Don't bang on a t-shirt, but you can absolutely still sign up for the 5K. I looked at the route and it looks like it's going to be a really fun time, and the weather, I mean, I know we're a little over a week away, but like the weather forecast is looking beautiful that day. And definitely not too cold relatively. So definitely sign up for that if you're interested. Okay, so let's see. Are the receptions, such as the Golden Celebration, providing dinner? What a good question. So, as far as I know, there are no receptions that are going to be providing any kind of formalized dinner, any plated dinner. However, the receptions will be providing a ton of food. Like there for most of our receptions, there is a food and beverage order. So there's going to be quite a bit of food. And I'm not saying that you could create a whole dinner out of it, but what I am saying is I have done that before. So there won't be any formal dinner meals offered, or lunches for that matter, except for the graduate student luncheon that is pre-registration. But there will be food at all of these receptions and some type of beverage that will be there. I don't think any of them have like nothing to provide to you. There's another similar question. Are there any meals that are provided to conference attendees? So we are doing a light breakfast on Thursday for the conference kickoff. So this is the first time that we've done this, providing that light breakfast for all attendees. So highly recommend that you show up for that event. We do tea breaks that often have food attached to them. So we provide a lot of snacking. There's a lot of snacking happening during the conference, but unfortunately there are no meals again other than the graduate student luncheon that I was mentioning, and of course the meal that you could cobble together going to maybe 2 or 3 receptions. Let's see.
Can I break in again, Erin?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Thanks. If you look online at the program, if you plug in coffee, it'll take you to our like little snackerdoos that are coffee related. So I did just want to point that out. And there's going to be one on Wednesday, which obviously not as many people may be there. That's pre-con day. And then one Saturday morning and then Friday morning as well for the poster board sessions.
Perfect. Thank you. That's actually super helpful. I also will say, if you see the coffee cart there and you see the snacks there, I wouldn't bet on them being there for too long. There have been a couple of times where folks are like, oh, I'll get coffee later. And then they get really sad when they realize that the coffee cart is gone. So I'm not sure exactly how long those are there, but if you see it, I'd go on ahead and just hop on it. So the very last question that I have is, I'm having a difficult time understanding the setup of the programs and sessions. Can someone walk us through that? So I think what this person might mean is kind of the setup of what it happens in each of the session types. Like, what does a in progress session look like? What does a symposium look like? What does a general session look like, and what does say, we'll say those types. Is that what I'm getting? If I can get a thumbs up maybe from whoever that was, they didn't necessarily leave their name. They may not be on the phone.
Hi, that was me.
Okay.
Eric again. So I'm looking through like all the sessions, and I think I think it's just a processing problem for me. The booklet is there's a lot of information, and I don't know like I guess I just don't know how to like not necessarily pick a session, but like what does it all mean? Like for example, I'm looking at the God damn it, where is it at? Here it is. The program book,
Mhm.
and there's like from zombies to mutants when turning to community-based practices is considered road. And then there's research methods, self-designed paper session, and then
Mhm.
there's a chair, there's a discussant, and then there's multiple like exploring embodied teaching. Then
Mhm.
there's like I just don't know like what is the session like is there
Yeah.
multiple sessions happening at the same time? I think I'm not understanding how to read through the program book. I think that's what my issue is.
That is a really great question. Let's see. Are you all, let me see what you all might be seeing.
I'm happy to share my screen too for
Oh,
context if that's allowed.
no, I think I am picking up what you're putting down. And then you can stop me like immediately if you think, oh no, she's completely wrong. Let me share this screen. Okay. So you all should be seeing my screen in the Whova app. Can you all see that? Okay. So let's look at an example from Friday. So let's look at the details of what's actually going on. So what you'll see is a session, like you'll see what section it's under. And so the section will be here. So this one is under philosophy and foundations. And then it'll be the name of the overarching section. Okay. And so this one is going to be abolition, neoliberalism, and higher education. In each of these sections, So this session that is entitled Abolition, Neoliberalism, and Higher Education will be 3 different papers. And so when it is 3 different papers, every person gets 15 minutes to talk about their paper. So they'll have a chair there. So the chair, this person, oh, I love Rachel. Rachel will be there just to make sure to keep time and to make sure that people don't go over. So this paper will go, they'll have 15 minutes to present their paper. This person will have 15 minutes to present their paper. Then this person will have 15 minutes to present their paper. After that, the discussant, which is Amy Wang, another great person, she has already read through all of the papers and has given written feedback to each of these folks. She will then do a presentation of the overarching themes of each paper and feedback that each paper will want/need in order to make it stronger. And so that will be about a 20-minute session. Um, After that, there will be the remaining time of that hour and 15 minutes to be a question and answer portion for any one of the presenters that are there. So for most of our sessions, that will include papers in progress, and then these general sessions that are showing up like this, those are going to be what that is. You might also see an interactive symposium, which is what I showed you earlier. And that is generally going to be one session that is organized by someone, which will have a components that will be more interactive, maybe a panel, and they will take up the entire hour and 15 minutes to kind of interact with that. So when you're looking for things that you might be interested in, you might look, say, let's go back and show the agenda. You might want to look at the overarching piece, right? So you'll look at this. This is going to be the overarching uprooting colonial narratives in STEM. That might be something of interest to you. And when you go and view details, you can see each, well, that's a bad one because that's an interactive symposium. So sorry. You might go to this one. So this one has a chair and a discussant. So you might go to this one that is beyond the metrics. And then you can go look and see, okay, these are the names of these papers. So if you're interested in the paper, like 2 of the papers, then you might want to go to that session. If you're interested in the title itself, you might want to go to that. If you're interested in the session that is under, which would be undergraduate students, persistence and resilience, then you might want to go to that just for the sheer idea of that. But for, again, those works in progress pieces and those scholarly and research papers, they will follow a 3-paper kind of format, 15 minutes piece, then a discussant, and then questions. Sorry, works in progress do not have a discussant. They'll do the 3-paper piece, and then they'll have the rest of the time for question and answers and working through and workshopping their papers. But it's still going to follow kind of that same time frame. Does that make more sense? And tell me if that was not what you're asking. I hope it is. Eric, are you still there with us? I don't see, but for those who are on the call, does that kind of clear up some things for you? Okay, thank you. Okay, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I know that it's so for me, before I went to ASHE for the first time back in 2019, I went to ACPA NASPA where I'd go to a presentation and it was the one presentation we talked through and it was kind of whatever that was. And even if it was a paper, then it would be the one paper talking through. So the 3-paper format is wonky and was a lot for me to get used to. So I do appreciate that question, Eric, wherever you are, and glad that we were able to kind of talk through it. And hopefully that'll help you all make more clearer decisions about where you want to go.
Erin, Maria put a great question in the chat about bilocating, and I'm like, I wish, but I'm like, is there a way to bilocate in Whova? And then my other thought was the workaround is just add them both to your like agenda and then compare them that way. Unfortunately, there is no bilocating. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would do that. And then also remembering that you do have access to every single slide deck. So if there is a paper or a session that you're super interested in, but it conflicts with anything else, then go find the name of the paper, go find the slide deck for that, and look through that. Their slide decks are usually filled with a lot of really good information. Write down the things that you need because you'll not have access to it after that Saturday. But yeah, ways to kind of get all the things you need.
Erin, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't people a lot of times put their like contact details in their slides? So like you could foreseeably contact them and be like, hey, I really loved this part of your presentation. Is there any information you can share with me? Which I regularly do when I see something cool that we've produced. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And people, I mean, if it were to happen to me, I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully other people would feel the same. So yeah, definitely reach out to people, give them their flowers and connect, because this is what the conference is for, the opportunity for us to learn from each other and have fun doing it. So yeah. Um, I will stay on for a little bit longer after I turn off the recording, but I just want to say thank you so much, especially for the folks that have been rocking with me every single week we've done this. Really appreciate all the time. I can't wait to meet all of you all in person. Um, I will be like out and about all around. I'll be at the help desk too. So if you see me, please say hi. Please ask me a bunch of questions. Me and Briante got you. But yeah, thank you and see you next week. So exciting. All right, bye.